What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the NFC West. Today is the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just going to dive right in it if you guys don't mind. And it all starts with the running game for the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a running team. They want to play bend but don't break defense. I would imagine they aspire to play great defense, considering that they used to be the Legion of Boom, but they know they're not. So it's bend but don't break defense, good running game, and then let Russell Wilson do his magic and do his thing. The Seahawks were 11-5, second in the division. Pretty interesting stat, right? So the 10 wins were decided by a score. So that just kind of goes back to what I was saying. They like to run the ball, play decent defense, keep it close, and ultimately let Russell Wilson win the game for them. So with that being said, Russell Wilson had one of the best years of his life. 4,110 yards, 31 touchdowns, 5 picks, 66% completion percentage. Outstanding stats. However, he had 48 sacks, and a lot of that is attributed to their offensive line. They lost three. I don't want to say they lost. Let's just say they benefited by the loss of 3 starters last year. Um, what they have on their offensive line this year is Dwayne Brown, still one of the better left tackles in the league. However, he is 35. Next to him, they have Mike Upati, who's a little bit behind his Pro Bowl days. Not the greatest pass blocker, but a road grader. They brought over B.J. Finney from the Steelers. Crazy stat about him. In 1,000 snaps, he's only had allowed 2 sacks. Pretty good stat. Let's see how he does as a full-time starter now, blocking for Russell Wilson, who likes to hold on to the ball. On the right guard, they picked up Chance Warmack. Problem is, he opted out due to the whole COVID concerns, right? But they did draft Damian Lewis, they were hoping was going to be pretty good depth, but now he's going to go ahead and start for right guard. Pretty sure he would have beat Chance Warmack out anyway. And then at the right tackle, they signed Brandon Shell from the Jets. Might as well say they didn't even pick up a right tackle. But with that being said, Russell Wilson so far has been able to, just kind of do his thing, extend plays and whatnot. The offensive line hasn't seemed to matter as much, but you got to think as he's getting older, I really wish they would find better linemen to help protect him. I really think that they are really taking advantage of how good an athlete Russell Wilson is. At some point, it's going to catch up to him. But this is why I think Russell Wilson's also just the most valuable quarterback in the league. And what I mean by that is, I know I dropped a video and I said Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback, and he is. But where Russell Wilson is so valuable is, if you're a GM, you don't even have to have the greatest offensive line for this kid to function. You don't even have to have the greatest receivers for this kid to function. But that's not a diss to the receivers they got. They do have Tyler Lockett. He had a bang out year, 82 catches, 1,057 yards, 8 touchdowns. They drafted DK Metcalf, who had a really good rookie year, 900 yards and 7 touchdowns. David Moore is a pretty good third option. Intriguing pickup, Philip Dorsett. Fast, 4.3 speed. Didn't really have a great season with the Patriots. Last seen getting yelled at by Tom Brady that, hey, you got to get separation and get open. Now, the thing with that is, in New England system, okay, they require a lot of precision running routes, and they run a lot of option routes, right? In that system, if you're a 4-3 guy and you don't have 100% grasp of the system, you're already not the greatest route runner, separation could be hard to come by, considering that you're doing a lot of thinking instead of just playing. In this system, it's not precision. It's we got better athletes than your athletes, right? So Russell Wilson extends the play. That he's not looking for crisp routes. He's looking for you to be the better athlete than the guy that's lining up across from you. So they're going to run the ball a lot, get you in 3rd and short, or even 2nd and short, hit you with play action over the top. Another example of this, DK Metcalf ran a 4.3, 6'4" monster, right? Hulk playing at wide receiver. Problem is, he had one of the worst cone drills known to man at the combine. Okay. Um, what that means is he's not great. You can't expect the greatest crisp routes from him, right? So he's really fast, but he's a little stiff. But it doesn't matter in this offense because he's a better athlete. He's going to run faster, jump higher than the guy guarding him. With Russell Wilson doing what he does, creating the magic that he creates, it allows these guys to flourish and it masks some of the weaknesses of the offense. The running game starts with Chris Carson. Had a great year, 1,000 yards. The last 2 seasons, 1,230 last year was a career high. He had a penchant for fumbling, but luckily it didn't cost them the season. But for the second consecutive season, he didn't finish the year. So that was a problem for them going into the playoffs. Their backup, Rashad Penny, first round pick, was starting to look like a bust, but he's starting to embrace the whole change of pace, third down back roll. He was averaging 5 yards a carry, but he ended up hurt too. They ended up having to sign beast mode Marshawn Lynch for the playoff run. Unfortunately, that playoff run fell short. And so as a result, they went ahead and drafted DJ Dallas out of Miami. Pretty underrated athlete, but he's a bigger back in between the tackles kind of kid. They got him for depth. With the way their injuries are set up, you might see him playing. I definitely hope they keep it together. That offense is pretty exciting stuff when Russell Wilson's, clicking and doing his thing. If you have him, you're always going to be in it. All right. Also, tight end, they picked up Greg Olsen. They should have one of the better tight end rooms between Greg Olsen and Will Dissly. But just like the running back situation, those guys are often injured a lot. But Greg Olsen, great pickup for the talent that he is. He's not what he used to be, but he's reliable. He could play every snap, tough, blocks. Exactly the kind of guy that Russell Wilson can use in a safety valve for him, right? All right, so defense. Let's start with the good. Back seven's probably one of the best back sevens in the league. Starts in the middle with Bobby Wagner. With Luke Kuechly retiring, he's definitely the best middle linebacker in the league. Led all linebackers with 159 tackles, 3 sacks, a pick, 6 passes defense, just doing his thing out there. His running mate KJ Wright, playing on the strong side, he had a career high 132 tackles. And they just drafted Jordan Brooks. He's a kid that flies around, 4.5 speed, 240 pounds. He's going to be playing the weak side. Crazy stats at Texas Tech, 108 tackles, right? You're like, well, linebackers are supposed to do that, but this kid had 20 of them for a loss. So when it comes to stacking and shedding and making plays in the backfield, this linebacking core is going to be pretty scary. They went ahead and traded for Quandre Diggs last year. Not sure why Detroit let him go, but they did. They're Detroit. All he did was reward them with 5 games, 3 interceptions, and took one to the house. And now they traded for a running mate. And you guys know who he is, Jamal Adams. Absolute monster at strong safety. All right, so probably one of the best safety tandems in the league. He's going to be playing the in-the-box role. I hear a lot of people saying Cam Chancellor. I don't know about all that. Cam Chancellor was one of my favorite players to watch. I don't think Jamal Adams is quite there. Corners, Shaquille Griffin, good corner, not the greatest. Did make a Pro Bowl, but no picks. One of those corners that's just feisty, sticks to your hip. It's going to fight you on every play. They did trade for Quentin Dunbar, which would have been a great upgrade on the other side of Shaquille Griffin. Only problem is he got hit with a robbery charge. I'm still waiting to hear more details on that, but he's on the exempt list. If he doesn't go to jail, he could be looking at suspension. So they could end up having to go back to Trey Flowers. And if you guys were paying attention last year, Trey Flowers was last seen getting smoked in the playoffs. Okay. So here's the bad. Biggest weakness on the defense is the pass rush. They traded for Jadeveon Clowney last year. He had some good moments, some bad moments. When he was on the field, though, he's basically he didn't have the sack numbers, but he's a game wrecker. And he wanted his money. Seattle was not going to give him what he was asking for. As a result, he's still out there on the free agent market, and they couldn't wait for him. So I don't think he's coming back. I don't think they even have the money to give for him to come back. So what they did was they signed guys that were definitely lesser than him. Benson Mayo and Bruce Irvin combined 15 and a half sacks. Not bad pass rushers, but they're more situational pass rusher types. I think they're actually liabilities against the run. They drafted LJ Collier last year to help with pass rush. Didn't start a single game, and in fact, only had 3 tackles on the season. It's looking like a bust. We'll see if he bounces back. They're going to need him to. They did draft Darrell Taylor, kid from Texas Tech, 6'4", 267, 16 and a half sacks in the last 2 seasons, 8 and a half last year while playing with a stress fracture in his shin. What I think they're going to do is they're going to try to manufacture sacks. So they don't have a premier pass rush guy. So what they're going to do is they're going to send guys from different angles. You're going to have packages that have Benson Mayoa, Bruce Irving, Darrell Taylor, maybe even rushing from inside. They did bring back Jaron Reed, who generates pretty decent pass rush inside, even though he had a down year last year. A forgotten man, Shaquem Griffin. He's going to provide good depth at linebacker, and it's going to be a decent situational pass rusher as well. And then Jamal Adams had 6 sacks last year. I would like to think they have a plan to send him after the quarterback a few times as well. So I think they're going to try to be more of an attacking team, even though historically they've been we're going to send 4 and drop 7. But with Jamal Adams' style, it would seem to be a waste of value to trade for Jamal Adams and not send him. Okay. Now, I saved this for last. Okay. I know I gave Jamal Adams a lot of his props. He's a great player and yada, yada, yada. But I just want to put this out there. I think the Seattle Seahawks GM was smoking a special brand of crack when they traded for Jamal Adams. To give up 2 first-round picks, a third, and a starting safety for Jamal Adams is absurd. There's no strong safety worthy of that doesn't play like Ed Reed. Okay, if you don't take the ball away or lock guys down, I'm not sure what you're paying for. Now, did you get a guy who is virtually a glorified linebacker? And earlier I stated I'm not even sure he's on Cam Chancellor's level, even though they have a similar skill set. Cam Chancellor had a penchant for making game-changing plays. Do we remember him destroying Demaryius Thomas in the Super Bowl, or knocking the ball away from one of the greatest receivers we've ever seen, Calvin Johnson, right before he scores and causing him to fumble to win the game? Like, these were plays that Cam Chancellor always made timely, game-changing plays. Now, I'm not saying Jamal Adams can't do that. Let's see what he progresses to. But I haven't even seen that from him. What I've seen from him is he's virtually a glorified linebacker. I'm not down on him, but I would have traded that for Derwin James before I traded that for Jamal Adams, because Derwin James can cover. And give you an example. You're in the same division with George Kittle. Jamal Adams, if you put him on George Kittle one-on-one, you're going to lose that matchup. So why did you give up 2 firsts, a third, and a starting safety, and you still can't cover George Kittle? Just some food for thought. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys giving me your time. Check out the Fan Smarter YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link to another one of my videos in the description. Please leave a like. Please comment. Any feedback, questions, I'm going to keep pumping videos out. If you're checking me out on that channel, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram. Follow me, like the video, and you'll be seeing more coming from me. All right. Peace out.